6. Al-An'am, the cattle. A late Makkan chapter revealed in its entirety on a single occasion, at a time of severe tension between the Muslims and the idolaters. Ibn Abbas said that some Meccans told the Prophet ﷺ, "We shall not believe until you bring us a book which we can touch and accompanied by the angels." The chapter presents powerful arguments supporting beliefs in oneness, messengership, and hereafter, typical subject matters of Meccan chapters, whilst the Medinan chapters deal with law, worship, and the organization of the community. Al-An'am, the cattle, is derived from several references to the idolaters' superstitious practices of dedicating animals to their idols. The Quran adopts 5 methods of reasoning to prove the creative power of God, a way of putting forward propositions about the existence of God and His dominance. 1. Self-evident truths. These maxims are pithy statements of truth. This worldly life is a sport and an amusement. The home in the hereafter is far better for the mindful people. Is there a doubt about the fleeting and temporary nature of this life? 2. The nature. God cleaves the seed and the fruit stone. He brings the living from the dead and the dead from the living. How can one fail to see the hand of God in the vast universe? 3. Human history. The stories of the prophets are frequent lines of evidence that the Quran presents to support its teachings. Prophet Abraham is instructed, "Worship God, there is no God beside him," steering stubborn and materialistic people to God by drawing their attention to the helplessness and mechanical nature of their gods. 4. Human conscience. The Quran appeals to human goodness and kindness to awaken the conscience, and frequently condemns human vices of greed, arrogance, and anger. 5. Human interest. People are naturally inclined to knowing what benefits or harms them. The Quran repeatedly demonstrates how idols are incapable of inflicting harm or benefit. So why would anyone worship idols? Shouldn't they worship their genuine benefactor and creator? The chapter opened with a powerful verse praising the creative power of God and criticizing the idolaters for equating their idols with Him. It reminds the idolaters that its denial will land them into hell, and that no matter how many miracles they see, they will not be convinced. The only remedy for stubbornness is submission. The Quran is a book of guidance. It reminds the idolaters that on Judgment Day, they will regret their idolatry and will want to return to the world to do good. The Blessed Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is told to be humble, know your strengths, weaknesses, and purpose in life. So be patient, keep the company of righteous, rely on God, and have a deep knowledge of the greatness of God. The next section, until verse 104, provides powerful evidence for the resurrection. Possible reasons for idolatry. The Quran explains the underlying cause of the idolaters' disbelief. They are close-minded, stubborn, and deaf, refusing to listen to the Prophet ﷺ, unwilling to pay attention to human reason. When the Prophet ﷺ pointed out their superstitious and illogical ways, they reacted by mocking him, and employed bully tactics to intimidate him. No miracle could convince them, since their hearts were inclined towards evil. Satan motivates them and makes their works look attractive to them. On the other hand, the believers are open-minded. The person God wishes to guide, he opens his mind to Islam, and whomever he wishes to go astray, he closes his mind. The criticism is to prick the conscience, to encourage them towards awareness of reality and bring them out of their delusion. So the Quran gives 10 new commandments. Don't commit idolatry. Care for parents. Stop infanticide. Avoid sinning openly and secretly. Don't murder. Look after orphans' wealth. Weigh and measure things accurately. Be just. Fulfill the contract of God and follow the straight path. The final advice: He made you representatives on earth to test you with what He has given you. The message is that human life is both precious and purposeful, so take it seriously. The Mecca of 7th century relishes in pride, power, and pleasure, set in opposition to God. In that sense, Mecca wasn't too different from London, New York, or Dubai of today. In the name of God, the kind, the caring, praise be to God, who created the heavens and the earth, and made darkness and light. Though the disbelievers hold up others as equal to their Lord, He created you from clay and fixed your lifespan, a lifespan firmly fixed by Him. But you still doubt. He is God in the heavens and on earth. He knows your secrets and all that you reveal, and He knows all that you do. When a sign from their Lord comes, they turn their backs on it, denying the truth when it comes to them. But news of what they joked about will soon come to them. Don't they realize we destroyed many previous generations? We gave them far more power in the land than we gave you, and how we sent abundant rain from the sky, making rivers flow. Eventually, we destroyed them for their sins and raised up other people after them. Even if we sent down a book written on paper, which they could touch with their hands, the disbelievers would say, "This is nothing but magic." They said, if only an angel would come down to him. If we were to send an angel, that would only be to decide their fate, and they would have no more time after that. Just as we could have made the messenger an angel, we could equally have made the angel appear as a man, thus confusing them with their own attempt to create confusion. Messengers were mocked before you, and the very punishment they once mocked swept away those who poked fun. Say, travel about the land and see what happened to the deniers. Say, who owns what's in the heavens and earth? Say, is it not God? He has decreed that He will be kind. Then He will gather you all on Judgment Day. In that there is no doubt. Those who through wrong life choices have failed themselves will not believe. Anything that is living, be it during the night or the day, belongs to Him. He is the hearer, the knower. Say, should I take a protector beside God, the creator of the heavens and the earth, who feeds and is not fed? Say, I am commanded to be the first who submits and not to be among idolaters. Say, I fear the punishment of a mighty day if I disobeyed my Lord. Whoever escapes the punishment of that day and is treated kindly will have a clear victory. If God decides to punish you, no one can remove it except Him. And if He decides to benefit you, He has power over all things. He is the controller of His creatures, the wise, the aware. Say, who could be the biggest witness? Say, it is God, a witness for you and me. This Quran has been revealed to me, so I should warn you and anyone else its message reaches. Do you believe there are other gods beside God? Say, I won't bear witness to that. Say, there's only one God, and I am not involved in what you associate with Him. Those previously given the book know this is true, just as they know their own children. As for those who, through their choices in life, have failed, they will not believe. Who is a worse wrongdoer than the one who invents lies about God and denies His signs? Those who have failed themselves will not believe. The day we gather them all, we shall say to idolaters, where are the partners you claimed? In their confused state, they will say, by God, our Lord, we never worshipped false gods. Look how they proved themselves liars and how they deserted those they invented. Some hear you, but we have placed a veil over their hearts, so they fail to understand the Quran, and there is deafness in their ears. Were they to see all the signs, they still would not believe. When they come to argue with you, the disbelievers say, these are only the myths of the ancients. They prevent others from listening to it and themselves walk away. They are unwittingly destroying themselves. If you could see them on Judgment Day, when they stand staring at the fire, they will say, if only we could be returned, and instead of denying our Lord's signs, become believers. No way. What they once used to hide will appear before them. Suppose they were returned, they would simply go back to doing what they had been forbidden. They are liars. They say, only our worldly life exists. We won't be brought back to life. If you could see them as they stand before their Lord, He will ask them, isn't this real? They will say, by our Lord, it is. It will be said, taste the torment of what you denied. Those who deny meeting God shall be losers when the final hour suddenly overtakes them, and they will be carrying a burden on their backs and say, alas for us, we wasted this life. Isn't evil what weighs them down? This worldly life is a sport and an amusement. The home of the hereafter is far better for mindful people. Don't you understand? We know, Muhammad, you are saddened by what they say. They can't turn you into a liar, but the wrongdoers are disputing God's signs. Messengers before you were also called liars. They were patient in the face of the lies and insults they suffered until our help came to them. No one can change God's words, and reports of the messengers have already come to you, confirming this. If you find it difficult to bear their rejection, then, if you can, look for a tunnel in the ground or a ladder to climb to the sky to bring them a miracle. If God wanted, He could have united them all on the path of guidance. Followers of the Prophet, you mustn't be like the ignorant. Only those who listen will answer. God will resurrect the dead, and they will return to Him. They say, if a sign were to come down to him from his Lord, say, God has the power to send down a sign. But most of them do not know. There is no creature on land or a bird flying in the sky that does not belong to a community just like yours. We haven't left anything out of the book. They will be gathered before their Lord. Those who deny our signs might as well be deaf and dumb and groping about in the dark. Anyone God wills, He lets him go astray, and anyone He wills, He puts on a straight path. Say, suppose God's punishment or the final hour was to come now. Would you call anyone other than God? No. You would call Him alone, and if He so willed, He would sweep away whatever made you do so, and you would forget what you associated with Him. We sent messengers to many communities before you and put those communities through suffering and hardships so that they might submit to God. They should have submitted when the sufferings came, but instead their hearts hardened, and Satan made their works appear attractive to them. Once they forgot what they should remember, we opened up the floodgates of worldly provisions for them, and just as they were reveling in what they had, we suddenly seized them, and they were left in utter despair. The last traces of the evildoers were razed to the ground. Praise God, Lord of all the realms. Say, suppose God were to take away your hearing and sight and seal your hearts. Which God beside God would make them work for you? See how we explain the signs, but they turn away. Say, suppose God's punishment was to catch you unaware or fully aware. The fact is, only the wrongdoers would be destroyed. We only sent messengers as bearers of good news and as warners. So whoever believes and puts his life in order will neither fear nor grieve. Whereas those who reject our signs will taste the punishment for their sins. Say, I don't say I own the stores of God's riches, or I know the unseen, nor do I say I am an angel. I only follow what is revealed to me. Say, are the blind and the seeing equal? Why don't you think? Warn, by means of the Quran, those who fear being gathered before their Lord. Beside Him, they have no protector or intercessor, so they may be mindful. And don't drive away those who worship their Lord morning and evening, seeking His pleasure. It isn't for you to judge them, nor for them to judge you. Were you to drive them away, you would be a wrongdoer. That is how we test some of them by means of others. So they say, are these the ones that God has favored over us? Doesn't God know best who is grateful? When believers in our revelation come to you, say, peace be on you. Your Lord has decreed that He will be kind. Whoever unwittingly does evil and then repents and reforms himself will find God forgiving, kind. This is how we explain the signs, so that the way of the sinful may be clearly distinguished. Say, I am forbidden to worship those you serve beside God. Say, I will not follow your desires, because if I did so, I would go astray and fail to be guided. Say, I have clear proof from my Lord, the one you have rejected. What you want to hasten is not in my control. The decision is God's. Who tells the truth and is the best judge of truth and falsehood? Say, if what you seek to hasten were in my control, then the matter that divides us would have been settled by now. God knows well the wrongdoers. He has the keys of the unseen realm. Only He knows them. He knows all that is in the land and sea. Not a single leaf falls without His knowledge. No seed buried in the darkness of the earth. nor any fresh or withered plant is left unrecorded in a clear book. He receives your soul at night and knows what good or evil you have done during the day. And he raises you up every morning so that your fixed term may reach its conclusion. After that, you shall return to him, and it is then that he will inform you of what you did. He is dominant over his servants, and he sends forth angel guards so that whenever death overtakes one of you, our angels bring back his soul, never failing in their duty. Then they will be returned to God, their true master. Doesn't the final decision rest with him? He is the swiftest of reckoners. Ask them, who rescues you from the dark forces of land and sea when you call him humbly in secret for help, all the while saying, if he rescues us from this, we will indeed be thankful. Say, it is God who rescues you from that and every other danger. But then you go back to associating false gods. Say, only he is able to punish you from above or from beneath your feet, or create conflict and factions. So some may taste the violence of the other. Consider how we explain the signs so they might understand. Your people, Muhammad, deny all this, even though it is the truth. Say, I will not be your guardian on Judgment Day. Fulfillment comes to every prophecy, as you will discover in due course. Whenever you see anyone mocking our verses, turn away from them until they change the topic of conversation. And if Satan made you forget, as soon as you remember, leave the gathering of the wrongdoers. Those that are already mindful of God are in no way accountable for the wrongdoers. Their role is to remind, so they might become mindful. Stay away from those who regard their religion as a sport, amusement, and are deceived by the attractions of this worldly life. To prevent any person being needlessly lost to hell because of the fruits of their actions, mention the fact that they will have no protector or intercessor beside God, nor will any ransom be accepted. They will be in hell as a result of their actions. They denied, so they shall have boiling water and painful punishment. Say, shall we worship beside God things that can neither benefit nor harm us, and turn back on our heels once God has guided us? Like someone who is distracted and tempted by earthly demons, even though he has friends calling him to the truth, saying, come to us. Say, God's guidance is the only guidance, and we have been ordered to submit to the Lord of all the realms, and to perform the prayer, and to be mindful of him. Before him you will all be gathered. He created the heavens and the earth for a purpose. A day will come when he says, be, and it will be. His word is the absolute truth. All things will return to him on the day when the last trumpet sounds. He is the knower of the seen and unseen realms, the wise, the aware. Remember when Abraham said to his father Azar, have you taken idols as gods? I see you and your people are misguided. That's how we showed Abraham the splendor of the heavens and the earth. So he became a firm believer. As the night grew dark around him, he saw a star. He thought, could this be my Lord? After it set, he said, I don't like things that set. Similarly, after seeing the moon rising, he said, could this be my Lord? But after it set, he said, if my Lord doesn't guide me, I will stray. When he saw the sun rising, he again said, "Could this be my Lord? This is big." After it set, he said, "My people, I am free from what you associate with God. I naturally turn my face to him who created the heavens and the earth. I won't associate partners with him." On hearing this, his people began to argue with him. So he said, "Are you arguing with me about God, who guided me? I'm not afraid of those you associate with him, unless my Lord wants something else. My Lord has knowledge of all things. Will you not listen? Why should I be afraid of things you associate with him when you are not afraid to associate others with God, about which he sent you no authority? Which of our two parties, you or me, deserves to enjoy security if you have knowledge? Those who believe without confusing their faith with idolatry shall enjoy security, and it is they who are guided. Such was the evidence that we gave to Abraham to use against his people. We raised him high as we wanted. Your Lord is wise, knowing. We gave him Isaac and Jacob and guided both as we had previously guided Noah. And among Abraham's offspring were David, Solomon, Job, Joseph, Moses, Aaron. That is how we reward the righteous. Zechariah, John, Jesus, Elijah, each one was upright. Ishmael, Elisha, Jonah, and Lot, every one of them, we favored over all the people, and some among their fathers, offspring, and brothers. We chose them and guided them along a straight path. Such is God's guidance, by which he guides his servants as he pleases. If any of them had associated partners with God, then the reward of whatever good deeds they had done would be worthless. We gave the book, the law, and the prophethood to them. Even if these people reject it, we nevertheless entrusted it to people who accepted it. God guided them. So imitate them in their guidance. Say, I don't ask you for any reward for this. It's a reminder for all people. When they said, God has never revealed anything to a human being, they failed to recognize the true greatness of God, which is his due. Ask, who revealed the book Moses brought as a light to guide people, which you keep in scrolls? You openly declare some of it and hide a lot of it. And you were taught what neither you nor your ancestors knew. Say, it is God, then leave them to amuse themselves with their foolish chatter. This is a blessed book that we have sent down, confirming what came before it, so you might warn the people of the mother of cities and of its surroundings. Those who believe in the hereafter, they believe in this book, taking care to observe their daily prayers. Who is more wrong than the one who invents lies about God or says, it has been revealed to me, when in fact nothing has been revealed to him, or says, I will send down the same as what God has sent down? Were you to see the wrongdoers in death throes, when the angels stretch out their hands saying, let out your souls, today you will be rewarded with the punishment of contempt because of what you falsely said about God, arrogantly rejecting his signs. You will come to us all alone, like the first time we created you. You have left behind the favors we gave you, nor do we see your intercessors with you, those whom you claimed were God's partners. The ties between you and them have been severed, and whatever you used to claim as a partner has deserted you. God is the one who splits open the seed and the fruit stone. He brings the living from the dead and the dead from the living. Such is God. So how were you misled from the truth? He splits the darkness with the dawn and made the night for resting and the sun and moon for accurately measuring time. Such is the precision with which He reassures, the Almighty, the Knowing. He made the stars for your guidance through the darkness of land and sea. We explain the signs to a group of people who know. He created you from a single soul with a place of settlement in life and another where you will be buried. We have explained the signs to a group of people who understand. He sent down water from the sky by which we produce blossoms of every kind and lush greenery. Furthermore, we produce pods with seeds packed together, and from the flowering part of palm trees, low-hanging clusters of dates and orchards of vines, olives and pomegranates. Some look alike and others different. Look at their fruits as they grow and ripen. There are signs in that for people who believe. Some people have taken jinn as partners of God, yet He created them and falsely ascribed sons and daughters to Him without any knowledge. Glory be to Him. He is exalted far above what they describe. He is the originator of the heavens and the earth. How could He have a son when He has no mate? He created everything and He knows everything. Such is God, your Lord. There is no God but Him, the creator of everything, so worship Him. He governs everything. Our eyes cannot perceive Him, but He perceives what our eyes see. He is the subtle, the aware. Say, Muhammad, visible proofs have come to you from your Lord. Anyone who looks at them, it is for his own benefit, and whoever remains blind to them, on his head be it. I am not sent to watch over you. This is how we explain the signs, but the disbelievers say, you have learnt it. So we wish to make them clear for people who know the truth. Messenger, follow what is revealed to you from your Lord. There is no God but Him, and turn away from the idolaters. Had God willed, they would not have associated anything with Him. We've not put you there to watch over them, nor are you responsible for them. Believers, don't insult anything they worship beside God. Then they will insult God out of hostility and ignorance. That is how we made every community's actions appear attractive to them. They will return to their Lord, and He will inform them about what they did. The idolaters swear solemn oaths by God that if a miracle came to them, they would believe. Say, miracles come only from God. What would make you realize that even if a miracle came, they still wouldn't believe? And that we would turn their faculties of intellect and sight upside down because they failed to believe in it the first time, leaving them to wander blindly about in their wickedness. Even if we sent down angels, or the dead spoke, or we gathered everything before them, they wouldn't believe unless God so willed. Most of them are ignorant. For every prophet, we assigned an enemy, demons from humans and jinn, who inspired one another with flowery speech to deceive. If your Lord wanted, they wouldn't have done this. So leave them and what they invent. They do so that the intellects of disbelievers of the hereafter might turn towards their flowery speech and be pleased with it, and so that they might get what is coming to them because of their wicked ways. Say, should I seek a judge beside God when he has sent down the book to you, clearly explained? Those given the book know it has been sent by your Lord with truth. So, listener, don't be among the doubters. Truly and justly has your Lord's promise been fulfilled. No power can change his promise. He is the hearer, the knower. If you were to obey the whims of most of those in the city, they would mislead you from God's way. They do nothing but follow speculation and tell lies. Your Lord knows best those straying from his way and those guided. So eat of the meat on which God's name has been invoked if you believe in his signs. Why wouldn't you eat that on which God's name has been invoked? After he has explained in detail what he has forbidden you to eat except out of necessity. Many of them are misled because of their desires and lack of knowledge. Your Lord knows best the sinners. Stay away from open and hidden sins. Those who commit sins will be punished for what they gained from it. Do not eat that meat on which the name of God has not been invoked. To do so is sinful. Believers, the human demons inspire their followers to dispute with you, and if you were to obey them, you would be guilty of associating partners with God. Take, for example, a person spiritually dead who we gave a life and a light to walk among people. Is he like someone who lives in utter darkness, which he never leaves? That is why what disbelievers did appeared attractive to them. In the same way, we have placed sinners in every town who go about plotting evil, but they are only unwittingly deceiving themselves. When a revelation came to them, they said, "We shall not believe until we are given what God's earlier messengers were given." God knows best where to place his message. Those who break the law will face humiliation in front of God and severe punishment for their former plotting. The person God wishes to guide, he opens his mind to surrender to God. And anyone he allows to go astray, he closes his mind as if he were struggling to climb skywards. By such means, God allows evil to come about on those who do not believe. This is the straight path of your Lord. And we have explained the verses in detail for people who are open to reminders. They shall enjoy a house of peace with their Lord, and he shall be their protector for what they did. On the day when he gathers them all, he will say, "Company of jinn, you derived much pleasure from misleading humans." And their allies among the humans will say, "Our Lord, we benefited from each other, but now we have reached the end of the span of life that you appointed for us." He will say, "The fire is your eternal abode, unless God wishes otherwise. Indeed, messenger, your Lord is wise, knowing." This is how we give some sinners influence over others because of the deeds they earned. God will ask, "Company of jinn and humans, did messengers not come to you from among your own kind, telling you of my signs and warning you that you would meet me on this day?" They will say, We testify against ourselves, but the worldly life deceived them, and they testified against themselves that they were disbelievers. Your Lord was never unjust. He would not destroy towns whose inhabitants had no knowledge of the truth. Everyone's rank in the hereafter will be based on what they did in this life. And your Lord is not ignorant of what they do. Your Lord is self-sufficient, most kind. If he wanted, he could get rid of you altogether and replace you with whomever he pleases, just as he raised you from the offspring of other people. What you have been promised is coming, and you will not be able to stop it. Say, my people, do it your way, and I'll do it my way. Soon you will know who will gain the happy home in the hereafter. Evildoers don't succeed. They set aside for God a share of the crops and cattle that he has produced, saying, this is for God, as they claim, and this is for our partner gods. Whatever is for their partners doesn't reach God, and whatever is for God reaches their partners. How badly they judge. In this way, their partners in falsehood have made it appear attractive to many of the idolaters to kill their children. Their false gods do this to destroy them and to dress up their religion. Of course, if God had so wished, they wouldn't have done it. So leave them and whatever they have invented. They say, these cattle and crops are set aside. No one may eat them without our authorization. Some cattle are forbidden to ride, and on other cattle, they do not invoke God's name when slaughtering, falsely attributing these rules to him. He will deal appropriately with whatever lies they invented. They say, what is in the wombs of these cattle are exclusively for our men and forbidden for our wives. But if it is stillborn, then they all share in it. He will reward them appropriately for their false description of him. He is wise, knowing. Those who kill their children foolishly, without knowledge, and who forbid what God has provided them, falsely attributing it to God, they have already lost. They have gone astray. They aren't guided. He grows gardens, both with and without trellises, date palms, plants of different flavors, olives, and pomegranates, some alike and others different. Eat of their fruits when they are ripe. Give the needy their due on harvest day, and do not squander. He dislikes spendthrifts. Some cattle are for carrying loads, and some are for food. So eat what God has provided you, and don't follow in Satan's footsteps, for he is your open enemy. There are 8 animals in pairs, 2 sheep and 2 goats. Say, is it the 2 males that he has forbidden, or the 2 females? Or is it perhaps what lies within the wombs of the 2 females? Tell me, based on some sound knowledge, which is it if you are telling the truth? Likewise, there are 2 camels and 2 oxen. Say, is it the 2 males that he has forbidden, or the 2 females? Or is it perhaps what lies within the wombs of the 2 females? Or were you even present when God ordered you to do this? Who is more wrong than the one who ignorantly invents lies about God to mislead people? God does not guide the wrongdoers. Say, I find nothing in what has been revealed to me that people are forbidden to eat except carrion, blood products, pork, which is impure, or else meat from animals slaughtered in the name of anything other than God. However, if anyone is compelled, not because he desires it or wishes to disobey God, then your Lord is forgiving, kind. We forbade the Jews from eating animals with claws and the fat of oxen and sheep, except whatever fat clings to their backs or to the offal, or is stuck to bones. That penalty was imposed because of their rebelliousness. We are most truthful. If they accuse you of lying, say, your Lord is gracious, and yet his punishment will not be deflected from the sinful people. The idolaters will say, if God wanted, neither we nor our ancestors would have associated anything with God, nor would we have forbidden the eating of anything. In the same way, people before them used to lie outrageously until they tasted our punishment. Say, have you got any knowledge? If so, produce it for us. You only follow speculation and tell lies. Say, God has conclusive proof. If he so wished, he would have guided you all. Say, bring your witnesses who will testify that God forbade this. Even if they testify, you do not testify with them. Do not follow the desires of deniers of our signs and those who don't believe in the hereafter and hold others up as equals to their Lord. Say, step forward and I will tell you what your Lord has forbidden for you. Associate nothing with him. Treat parents well. Don't kill your children due to poverty. We provide for both you and them. Stay well clear of gross indecency, whether openly or in secret. Don't kill anyone. God has made life sacred unless by some lawful right. This is what he has commanded you, so that you might reflect. Stay well clear of the property of orphans, except if it be to do good by investing it wisely until they come of age. Be honest in your weights and measures, because we do not task any person beyond its capacity. Whenever you speak, be just, even regarding your own relatives. Be true to the contract of God. This is what he has commanded you, so that you might pay attention. This path of mine is straight, so follow it, and do not follow other paths, as they will cause you to deviate from his path. This is what he has commanded you, so that you might be mindful. After that, we gave Moses the book as a comprehensive manual for the one who strives for righteousness, explaining everything in detail, and as a guidance and kindness so that people might believe in meeting their Lord. And this too is a blessed book that we have sent down. So follow it and be mindful, so that you might be treated kindly by God. This is just in case you should say, the book was only sent to 2 groups before us, and we were unaware of what they had been taught. Or you say, if only the book had been revealed to us, then we would have been better guided than them. Now, clear evidence has come to you from your Lord, along with guidance and kindness. Who then does greater wrong than the one who denies God's signs and turns away from them? We will award those who turn away from our signs the worst of punishments because of what they used to do. Is this what they are waiting for? That angels should come to them, or your Lord, or some signs of your Lord. On the day when some of your Lord's signs come, there a person's faith will be of no benefit unless it already believed or had earned some good because of faith. Say, wait and see, for we too are waiting. You have nothing to do with those who divided their religion and made sects. Their case rests with God, and He will inform them about what they did. Whoever on Judgment Day produces a good deed will have the reward of 10 like it. And whoever produces an evil deed will be awarded just one like it, and they will not be wronged in the least. Say, my Lord has guided me on a straight path, an upright religion, tending naturally towards Abraham's way of worship. He wasn't an idolater. Say, my prayers, my sacrifices, my life, my death are for God, Lord of all the realms. He has no partners. That's what I have been ordered to do, and I am the first to surrender to Him. Say, how can I long for a Lord other than God when He is a Lord of everything? No person earns anything except towards its own account, and no one will bear the burden of another. Then to your Lord shall you return, and He will inform you about whatever you differed over. He made you representatives on earth, raising some of you over others in rank in order to test you with what He has given you. Your Lord is swift to punish, but always forgiving, kind.